And then we're going to write a powerful intention in each of those areas. But here's the thing, Mike, there's no difference between imagination and reality. So whatever you can imagine, you can create. So we're going to write it as if it already exists. So he says, what do you want most in your life? Well, I want my wife and my daughter back. We've been divorced 2 years. She hates my guts, but it's killing me. And he goes, okay, let's write a powerful intention. So I'm sitting there in his kitchen table. I start writing, Lisa and I are happily married.
Welcome to the Spiritual Quest podcast, a transformative journey where we step into a world of wonder and exploration, seeking answers to profound questions. Why am I here? What is my mission in life? And how can I make a positive impact in this world? Join me and my inspiring guests on a spiritual quest to fully embrace your uniqueness and speak your truth with grace and gratitude. I am your host, Vibeke Garnos, always guided by spirit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Quest podcast. Today, I have a truly extraordinary guest joining me, Mike Murphy. Mike's life story is a remarkable testament to the heights we can reach when we align intention, energy, and action. From a challenging start marked by hardship and adversity to becoming a self-made entrepreneur, Wall Street Journal best-selling author, and dedicated philanthropist, Mike has transformed not only his own life, but also the lives of countless others. Mike is the creator of the Creation Frequency, a revolutionary program that redefines the way we understand the law of attraction. He's shown people how to turn their visions into concrete, life-changing results through groundbreaking techniques and tools like his guided relaxation app. Beyond his groundbreaking work in personal transformation, Mike's mission runs deep. His heart and compassion shine through the Love for Margaret Foundation, created in memory of his late wife, Margaret, who's courageously battled cancer for 9 years. This foundation provides critical financial support and resources for underinsured women facing advanced cancer, ensuring that no one walks alone during their most challenging times. Now, Mike's dedicated his life to empowering others. So whether you're seeking personal growth, exploring the power of intention, or simply yearning for a fresh start, this conversation will inspire and equip you to step into your full potential. Join us for an unforgettable discussion as Mike shares his powerful story, his wisdom, and a roadmap for manifesting a brighter, more fulfilling future. So please join me in extending a heartwarming welcome to Mike Murphy. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, Vibeke. Nice to be here.
I'm so thankful and grateful that you've accepted my invitation to share your story because this is a pretty amazing story. We just had a short conversation before we went live, and I'm super excited for you to share that story with our viewers. So why don't we dive straight into it, Mike, and why don't you share a little bit about how it all came about from hardship to success?
Yeah, I want to tell you a little bit about the creation frequency because it is the most unique way to use the law of attraction and manifestation. I don't know if you can see this photograph. Can you see that?
Yes, a little bit. Yes, there we go.
Okay, so that's 1957. Look like I'm about 6 months old, and I got a bottle of beer next to me and a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. And my mother wrote, "Learning young, just like mommy and daddy." So, we're all subject to our childhood programming. And when we're born, we're in a theta brainwave state. So we're sponges. So we absorb everything like that. So I was programmed to be a smoker, drinker, womanizer, gambler, and all that kind of stuff. So fast forward to 1982, I had abandoned my wife and 2-month-old daughter 2 years before. I can't get my life together. I've kicked out every school I ever went to. Juvenile delinquent, habitual runaway, always in juvenile hall, always getting kicked out of school, always in trouble. And I find myself divorced with a 2-year-old, a woman that hates my guts, and I'm in a 12-step program. And a buddy of mine says to me, "Hey, I've never met anybody as messed up as you, but I might know somebody that can help you. And so he introduced me to a recovering alcoholic that was doing work with people like me. But I'm going to tell you what happened, and then I'll tell you the science behind it, which I didn't know at the time. I was just a dumb young guy with no education, no money, no future, no hope, miserable, couldn't stay off of drugs because I'd abandoned my wife and my daughter. I missed my daughter immensely, and it was literally killing me. And so I go to this man's house and he says, Mike, you come here 1 hour a week for 7 weeks, and I promise you'll get everything you want in your life. And by the way, it's $50 an hour. And I didn't have 50 cents. So back in those days, we could write a bad check and get away with it for a while. So that's what I did to get going. So here's what he said to me. He said, first of all, you need to create a balanced life. So we're going to break your life into 6 areas: relationships, career, finances, personal development, contribution, and things like that. And then we're going to write a powerful intention in each of those areas. But here's the thing, Mike, there's no difference between imagination and reality. So whatever you can imagine, you can create. So we're going to write it as if it already exists. So he says, what do you want most in your life? Well, I want my wife and my daughter back. We've been divorced 2 years. She hates my guts, but it's killing me. And he goes, okay, let's write a powerful intention. So I'm sitting there at his kitchen table. I start writing, Lisa and I are happily married. Our daughter, Michelle, thrives in this marriage. And it's like, I know this is BS, right? This is not. And then all of a sudden, I get just a little bit of hope. Okay. And so I finished that intention. Next week, what do you want most, Mike? I'm making like $2,000 a month as a waiter. I want to make $10,000 a month. What do you want next? I want to own my own home. What do you want next? I want to run a marathon, and stuff like that. And I want to own my own business. Okay. And so each week for 6 weeks, we write a powerful intention in those 6 areas. Week 7 is where the magic happens. He brings out a boom box. And for you youngsters in the world, that's what we used to listen to music on. And he puts in a cassette tape that's playing theta brainwave music. And I'll explain why later. Then he hands me a 2-page relaxation script, and he hands me a microphone attached to a tape recorder, and he puts in a blank cassette tape into the tape recorder. He says, what I want you to do now is read the relaxation script and read your 6 intentions. I do it. He pops out the cassette, hands it to me. He says, here's the important part. Every morning when you first wake up, I want you to listen to this. And every night, right before you fall asleep, I want you to listen to this. And there's science behind all this. I didn't know any of this, right? And so lo and behold, all these things come through in my life. 4 months into this, with no money, no credit but bad credit, I'm able to own my own restaurant in 4 months. 2 years later, after doing this, that wife that hated my guts and been divorced now 4 years calls me up and asks me if I will escort her to her Christmas party. We get remarried and have 3 more children. I've owned many, many homes. I've made millions and millions of dollars. So this is how this works. Now, let me tell you why. So a couple reasons. One, he's putting me in a self-hypnotic trance with the theta brainwave music and the relaxation script. So he's putting my brain in theta brainwave state, which is best for manifestation. Then what's able to do, the intentions now can pierce the conscious mind and get into the subconscious mind, which is the superpower. Right now, everybody listening to this, your subconscious mind is taking in millions of bits of data every second. That's how powerful it is. But then it can only deliver to the conscious mind 40 bits of data because that's all the conscious mind can handle. So if I walk around all day and go, my life sucks, I never get a break, nothing good ever happens to me, that subconscious mind is, because it doesn't judge, and it's looking for stuff to put to my conscious mind to make that my reality, right? True. So I'm reprogramming my subconscious mind. Now, I've taken it further now because I know that I'm not my body, that my body is made up of 50 trillion living individual conscious cells working together to create this vessel to house my soul. And so, but I'm telling these cells what I want. I also know in my mind, I have a reticular activating system that's always looking for what I'm looking for. So I'm telling it what to look for. Okay. So, but what I now know, I've done a lot of work with Dr. Joe Dispenza in his retreats and the field of infinite possibilities that the Bible calls ether. Nikola Tesla called plasma, the Chinese called chi, the Indians called. Right here is electromagnetic field. This is where the energy is. This is where, the stuff is, and we just have to access that. And also the power of sound. The power of sound is amazing. The Bible says that God spoke this world into its existence. He said, "Let there be light." He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So when I'm listening to that recording every morning, every night, those intentions, those thoughts are going into the field of infinite possibilities, where they meet like-minded thoughts and possibilities vibrating at the same frequency. And then the more love I can attach to those, the heart is the magnet that draws it back. And once we understand this is how nature works. You plant a seed, you give it lots of love through water and sunshine, and then you reap a watermelon or a piece of broccoli or whatever it is. This is how nature works. This is how we work. This is how everything. So the law of attraction works. Everybody's using it. I challenge people to find stuff in their physical existence that didn't first start as a thought and desire. So we're doing it, but we're doing it unintentionally. Once we tell the mind and the body and the field what we want, then it can work like this. And that's what people have to understand. So the creation, so I got all that stuff. Now I become very, very wealthy. I end up with 4 kids. I'm living in a $4 million house. And then that marriage eventually, after 20 years or so, didn't last, okay, for other reasons. So then I meet this beautiful young woman. I was a Chevrolet dealer, and she walks in to sell me advertising. Now, first of all, the fact that she got into my office is a miracle, because that's very difficult to do. And the moment our eyes locked, there was a feeling, a connection I've never felt before in my entire life. And the meeting should have been 15 minutes. It was 2 hours. And so we worked together for 7 months. And she was falling in love with me. I didn't know it. I was falling in love with her. She didn't know it. And one day we compared notes. And so we started a relationship. And it was very difficult, because we had to undo stuff in other parts of our life and to get together. So that caused a lot of difficulty. But 9 months into this relationship, she's only 29 years old. I find a golf ball sized tumor in her breast, stage 3 breast cancer. Holy moly, right? Mm-hmm. So I was 43, she's 29. So we thought we got very lucky. We got to work with the head of oncology at Stanford University in Palo Alto. She started battling this, lots of chemo, lots of radiation, surgeries, and we eventually got married 5 years into this, and she desperately wanted to have a baby, but they fried her so badly she couldn't. And long story short, on December 1st, 2010, after about 8 years of this, the doctor says, "Margot, unfortunately, the cancer's spread to the lining of your brain. And if you do nothing, you have 6 weeks to live. And if you treat it, you have 6 months to live." Now, this woman, we never even talked about it. We left that office and we immediately started making plans to go to MD Anderson in Houston, because I've never met anybody in my entire life that loved living and loved life. And she's the kind of person, she'd walk in a room, she'd light up the whole room. So just had this energy about her that was super special. And so long story short, we fight for these 6 months, horrendous battles. There's a beautiful book I wrote about her, and it just takes these 6 months and chronicles them with flashbacks into our love story. That's called Living in Color. So anybody that's an advocate like I was, or just want to meet a courageous woman that was full of love and hope, and a lot of her journaling is in this book, is a beautiful book. So anyways, long story short, she passes away. And I, for the first time in my life, was completely lost and devastated. I mean, broken as broken could be. And I used to tell people back in those days is if God was able to come in, fillet open my heart, take out all the arrogance and the self-centeredness and the BS, and replace it with love. So I spent the next few years walking around with a broken-hearted guy, not even close to grounded to Mother Earth. I mean, I don't know where I was. But right after she passed, a friend asked me if I could help his sister-in-law who was moving from Wyoming to the San Francisco Bay Area because she had stage 4 breast cancer. She was 38 years old, the same age as when my wife had passed, and she had 3 children. I said, of course, I'll help her. Her name was Amanda. So I take Amanda to my late wife's oncologist, and he orders a bunch of tests. And so I have nothing to do because I've been the main caretaker, so I haven't been working. So I go with Amanda for maybe 5 or 6 hospital visits, doctor visits. And I noticed that, one, she doesn't have great insurance. She doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have other resources, doesn't maybe have the greatest personality in the world compared to Margot's. And I noticed that they treated her differently. They'd either talk down to her, talk over to her head. And I just sat there as an observer, just uncomfortable, but not saying anything, just loving and supporting her. Then we go back to Margot's oncologist, and he says, Amanda, the best protocol to extend your life are these 3 chemotherapies simultaneously. Unfortunately, your insurance will only pay for 1. So that's all I can give you. And I was flabbergasted. I really didn't know the world worked like this. And I said, hey, man, here's my credit card. You give her whatever it is she needs. And that became the seed, which a few months later became the Love for Margot Foundation. And for 4 or 5 years, I would meet with women below the poverty line that were battling breast cancer, and I would give them a financial grant. My theory was this. I'd give them $1,000 a month for 5 months. So now they didn't have money to begin with. Now they can't work. They're sick. They need to go to all this treatment. They'll get better, and then they can go back to work. Well, that was my theory. Unfortunately, most of them would get sicker and sicker, and a lot of them would die. So after about 4 years, well over $1 million into this, I'm going, this is not a good return on my investment. And a couple of the women had mentioned, hey, I would like to go natural treatment if I can. So that got me to thinking, after I realized that I was just kind of throwing money away, that I would find a place where people could go to heal naturally. And so I started looking all over the world, the best place for that. And in 2016, I bought this amazing piece of property in Medellin, Colombia. And it's 20 acres. It's 7,000 feet in the Andes Mountains. Medellin is called the City of Eternal Springs. So every day it's 55 to 75 degrees. So we have this amazing healing resort here where it's really a farm, right? But we have a medical facility on the farm, which is probably unheard of. We have a gymnasium. We have a saltwater swimming pool, jacuzzi. We have a sauna from Finland. We have a cold plunge. We have all kinds of biohacking from PEMF to salt therapy to red light therapy to biochargers. Then we have indigenous ceremonies from sweat lodge to cacao ceremonies to plant medicine ceremonies, whatever a person needs. Psychiatrists, if we need to use psychedelics to break people out of PTSD or depression. So our philosophy is that your environment got you sick. Something in your environment got you sick. And so what we have to do is create a new environment because the body is designed to heal itself. Your God, your creator, wants you to be healed. So we just have to put you in an environment and give you and detox there's so much toxicity in the world today from the water, from the food, from the air. So we got to get the heavy metals, the parasites out of your body. And we have colonics and massage therapy, all these things to get that detox the body. Then we grow 50 different vegetables right here in the purest soil I've ever seen in my entire life with no chemicals. So we're detoxing you. We're putting good nutrition. Then we do the same thing with the mind and then the heart. So what I've discovered, and I really believe this, is most people are living in their head. And I call it the insane asylum. The committee is
Yes.
So how do we end up here? We get hurt. We get hurt emotionally in our heart and we start building walls around it. Okay. So now we got to go somewhere. So we go up here and we think the solution is up here, and this only makes it worse. So what we do is we try to gently nudge people from here back into their heart and start healing that trauma. I haven't met anybody that's come here yet that doesn't have some sort of trauma that needs to be healed. Even I'm still unraveling programming from my childhood. And I'm 67 years old. So imagine that. So we have to heal this trauma. How do we heal? We shine light on it. And we forgive anything and everything that happened, and we let it go. We change the story, right? Mm-hmm. But now we can start living from here again because it doesn't hurt anymore. And now we can use this supercomputer, the subconscious mind that I mentioned before, and we can use this subconscious computer and the conscious mind to help create the desires and the plans to fulfill the desires of our heart. And that's how it all comes together. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Wow. What an incredible story. But I want to jump into points of it, because you said that you came from a hardship. You were the picture said it all, I guess. A young child holding a beer bottle or whatever it was, and then bringing up there, you probably got some imprinted patterns and belief systems that were triggered as you went out in life, trying to get yourself back together somehow. And then you meet this person. So let me first ask you, do you believe in that there is no coincidences, that people come into your life at certain points to be able to assist you, like divine guides, like soul contracts, whatever you want to call it? Do you feel like...
There's no doubt about it. I mean, well, I talked about this energy right here. Okay, there's guides, there's ancestors, there's angels. It's all right here. But remember this: we live in duality.
Yes.
God had to create this. We came from singularity, so God had to create this through duality. Okay, so the light is right here, but so is the dark, and that's why we have to protect this and protect this for what we let in. So we have to be conscious of that. But absolutely 100% that we have guides, we have angels, we have helpers. Absolutely. And we have to ask for help. That's the problem. You know, one of my journaling.
That. Yeah.
Here's
that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. If people would just do this, it would change their life. Every morning I journal, I just start, and I'm like talking to God, but writing. Okay. Thank you for this. Heavenly Father, I start, Heavenly Father, thank you for this. Thank you for my kids, this. I get into an attitude of gratitude, which is a great frequency to be vibrating at. Then I say, please give me wisdom on this. What should I do with this kid? What should I do with this person at business? What should I do with this, right? So I'm asking for help and wisdom on all this. And then I just simply end in love. Thank you. I love you. The Ho'oponopono, right?
Yes.
And all we have to do is ask for help. And somehow we've lost. See, one of the beautiful things of Mountains of Hope, I believe, is people come here, they think they're coming here to heal, which they do, but they get reconnected with their soul. The beauty of nature, of God's nature, combined with the beauty of these Colombian people that work here that are full of love. I mean, I say nothing else. I say, if nothing else, we're going to love you back to health, and the nature is going to heal you. And we've lost touch. This stuff here, as good as it is, the fact that, you're in Norway, I'm in Colombia, and we can talk, that's fantastic. But we're addicted to these things, right? For a long time, everybody's fearful they're going to chip us. Well, they don't have to put a chip in us. We carry it around with us all day long.
I know.
So we have to get back to community, unity, responsibility, and integrity. And I think we're headed there. I think we're still going to have some upheaval in the world. We got to get rid of these wars and all this economic debt. And so we're going to go through some more trauma, I believe. But when we come through it, I believe that we can create a world of higher consciousness based on love and community, and usher heaven back onto earth. That's my hope. That's my intention. That's what I am working for.
I love that. And I love that you address hope also in your story, and Mountains of Hope. For me, hope is a frequency that opens up for limitless possibilities. I mean, hope is what breaks you open. That breaks open the heart. And so when I heard that you had Mountains of Hope, I got chills, because that's all I speak of now. We need to go back to hope. Hope is the most beautiful thing that opens you up to love, to self-love, and to love for all. The dimension of unity, as they speak of, if moving into the heart vibration or the heart frequency, that is what you will find, that dimension of unity, the oneness, the interconnectedness with nature, with everything. And you've created a space where people can come and heal, to find tune that hope to break open and to fall in love with themselves again, to fall in love with life. I think
Yeah.
that's such a
Yeah.
wonderful thing.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little story that talks on a couple things you brought up. One, we just had a guest here for 2 months, and he was going somewhere else. And you talk about coincidences and accidents and everything. And something happened that some doctor that's been here referred him to this. He literally was going to this place 2 days in the future, and he finds this and he comes here because of hope. Okay. And he's had a very rare non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he's a very healthy guy his whole life. But he used to work a lot with glyphosate, Roundup, which is a weed killer, right? Which is a poison, and that's what is poison. That's why everybody's got bad guts and want gluten-free, because it's not because of the food; it's because of the poison they put on the food. So, anyways, he came here with hope, and I forget how old he is, but it's probably mid-50s, late 50s. He said, whatever you guys tell me to do, I'm going to do. And one of the things that we have here, we have an alliance with the National University of Columbia. And one of the products we get from them, they've been growing stem cells and exosomes for 20 years. And these are stem cells from the umbilical cord of a baby. So they're like brand new baby cells. But they also have another procedure called natural killer cells. So what they did with this man is they removed his blood when he first got here. And then they removed the T cells and they started growing T cells for 3 weeks. And then they put it back into him. I've done this twice. So when he first got here, whatever blood measure marker they were using, a normal was 12, and he was like at 7. And he could barely walk around here, and we're 7,000 feet in altitude, so that didn't help either. So, but when he left here, he was up to 11. So this stuff works, and all the other stuff that we did. But what I loved about the guy, whatever you guys tell me to do, I'm going to do, and so that's not only hope, that's faith.
Yes.
And you start combining hope, faith, we can create miracles.
So true. So let's bring it down a little bit for people watching now and thinking about themselves. Maybe they have issues, physical issues, or they have a dream, they have something they want to accomplish next year. How do we get into that state of hope or state of being allowance? That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, we have to take action. So, one of the greatest books ever written was, I just forgot the name of it. Forgive me. But anyways, it has to do with, gosh darn. Anyways, we have to get off the couch and we have to do something. I always say, if Jesus would have come down here and he would have sat on the couch in Bethlehem and eat ho-hos and ding-dongs all day long and watched Jerry Springer, he never would have got off the couch and spread the good news, right? So we have to take action. So if you're trying to create something, I love the creation frequency process because it's going to get you to dream big, analyze what area of your life you want to create that intention, write a powerful intention as if it already exists. And then we have an app called the Creation Frequency app. It's embedded with theta brainwave music, and you just record it. And the relaxation script is in there. I ask people to do it in their own voice, but we have it pre-recorded as well. And just listen to that and start taking action. And that once you do this, all of a sudden the right people start to show up, or the right book, or the right funding. How did I own my own business after 4 months? I swear to you, I'm living on someone's couch. I have no money, no nothing. It's in a big mall. There's no way I can get a lease. But where did the money come from? So I had this intention, and this is what people have. Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is the book I was thinking about, right? Yeah. Which I love the book, but the title implies you don't have to do anything. So you have to, because when you're trying to manifest something, let's say you're trying to manifest a new car. Well, you're not going to wake up a week from now and there's a new car in your driveway. But what you will manifest is the plan to get that car. So what happened to me is, here was this restaurant I wanted to open. It was closed. 3 people had already got bankruptcy. But I have no money, but I had a dream. And so all of a sudden, one day, a thought comes. And these are the other things that we have to pay attention to, that says, put an ad in the newspaper and raise the money. And that's what I did. And then I got the money, and then I got the restaurant. So after I sold that after a year and I started selling cars, I would tell the other salesman, I'm going to own my own car dealership pretty soon. You're nuts. That's impossible for a salesman to own a car dealership. But I already knew how this works, right? So I started selling cars in 1983, and I got my first dealership in 1990. And that's a big thing, to go from nothing with no help, no money, no parents, no nothing. So this will work for you. But then the other thing is, we live in a microwave society. We want everything now. Okay?
Yes.
And we have to be patient with this. If I go to my garden right here and I put a watermelon seed in the ground, I'll have a watermelon in a couple months or however long it takes. But if I take an acorn and I plant it in the ground, the oak tree is going to take a lot longer. So we have to be patient what we're trying to manifest. Mounds of Hope, I started manifesting this in 2000, probably prior to buying it. I was already looking. So I came here in 2015 trying to manifest this. And oh my gosh, now here's the important thing. It's gone through so many different changes of what my initial idea would be, right? Because I'm co-creating this with the creator of all. And so we have to, I tell people, when you create an intention, be as specific as you want, as can you be. Be very, very specific, and then let go of the outcome. Let's say you're trying to manifest love, and you got to have a blonde woman or a blonde guy, and it's got to be this, got to be that, got to be this, got to be that. Great. Write it down, create that in your intention, but then let go of the outcome and let's see what happens and let's see what shows up. And because we are creating this with God, if we're in touch with our soul.
What about all of us who have had these experiences? Because I believe most of us we can remember, if we really think about it, that we've had manifestations, powerful ones. So when you lose that, why do we lose it? And how can we get it back? Any tips or ideas?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a mindset, right? And what do we say to ourselves all day long? How do we talk to ourselves? And what comes out of our mouth? Okay, because that's going to become our reality. We need to learn to control our emotions and our mind, and then what comes out of our mind and how we talk to ourselves. So we need to be constantly looking in the mirror, telling ourselves that we love ourselves and forgiving ourselves. And when stuff doesn't go right, like you said earlier, the Bible says everything works together for the glory of God. And so we need to realize that, yes, like I just lost my chef, okay? And now this is an inconvenience. But I'm not going to beat people up. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to put an ad in the paper. I'm going to find a new person, right? So it's a mindset, and we lose touch with that. We get triggered so easily now because we're never alone and we're never quiet. This is what I'm trying to go back to myself, is more quiet, solitude, more meditation, because we're in constant stimulation. I would say most of the world, if not all, we're in fight or flight,
Yes.
and so how can you be present? And how can you sit down? Even for me, I mean, I used to read 5 books a week to become successful. I can't read a book, okay? I have to listen to this stuff on YouTube or something, or listen to a book. I can't sit still and read a book, okay? And some of us, because I don't want to carry them all over the world, and they're on Kindle, and I don't want that blue light. But still, I see how everything is speeding up, even in my own life. So we need to sit down, get still, get quiet, contemplate, journal, pray, ask, meditate, get into nature, breathe, learn how to breathe properly. And when we start getting this system to work better and to calm down, okay, so many people come here, anxiety, depression. The number one cause of death for teenagers in America now is suicide. It used to be accidents, now it's suicides, because everybody's got to be stimulated all the time. And this is what I'm really working on in my own life, is to say, okay, breathe, walk, meditate, get into nature, give thanks, love, care for others. I don't know if you're familiar with the woman Byron Katie, but I just love her work. Okay.
Yes, I am.
And I did a lot of work around her stuff. And she said, if you want to break your ego and be free, do something for someone else every day anonymously. And all of a
Yes.
sudden, okay, you'll be free of your suffering. You'll be free of your ego. And all of our suffering comes from our ego, okay? and our belief systems that are, if we start to question everything, we realize we're just totally lost. And so when we get back into the heart and we start to live a life of love and service to one another, and life just flows easier.
So true. So true. But what about those people who just got news that they're losing somebody they love? They're
Mm.
becoming ill or themselves are feeling bad and they're stuck in that fear vibration. What can we
Get,
do?
you got to get help. You got to talk about it. I will say this, when my wife died, I would say for the first 90 days, I wouldn't cry 100 times a day. I would sob from places inside of me that I never knew existed. But I knew while that was going on, as painful that was, that those tears were healing me. So I just knew it intuitively. And so I would just walk around the neighborhood, listen to a lot of Byron Katie books on tape, and sob and cry and forgive myself and love her and realize that if you lost someone, we talked a little bit about Michael Newton, I'll bring that up. But when we've lost, they can hear us. Okay.
Yes.
We can still talk to them. Okay. And so I tell you this because I know you're associated with Michael Newton and Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls. When my wife was given that 6-month death sentence, she fought every day, 2 brain surgeries, got her lungs drained a few times, just pure misery. I mean, just unbelievable stuff just to live another day. But every night we would listen to the books on tape, Michael Newton's Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls, and gave her so much hope. So she started preparing for that last breath. The week before her death, everybody came and said goodbye to her one-on-one, personally. She resolved every issue with her ex-husband, with this person, that person, with her parents. And she had had an abortion when she was 19 years old. She'd never told her parents. And she finally told her parents. And she got all that garbage out of her. And then when she passed, someone was coaching me on this, a beautiful man from the Living Dying Project. He'd been doing this for 30 years. He said, Mike, when she passes, make her look really pretty and have everybody come and say goodbye. Okay. I mean, I learned so much. And to be it, because of my foundation, and I was on the board of that foundation, I've sat on many, many deathbeds where people are taking their last breath. It's the most sacred work, but there is no such thing as death. I just was fortunate to spend 5 days in Georgia with a guy named Damian Brinkley. Damian Brinkley was struck by lightning in 1975. He was clinically dead for 28 minutes. And he went out of his body and he worked with these light beams. And because of all the damage from that, he died 3 more times. He's still alive, but he's been dead 4 times. And he's worked with these people. And here's what he'll tell you is that we are powerful spiritual beings with dignity and direction, and we can never die. And that's, once you get that, when you can make peace with that all you came into this body, when you came into this form as a spirit and you're going to leave as a spirit, and you are eternal, timeless consciousness. And all this religion and all this fire and brimstone isn't real. Okay. It's just a story to control through fear. And when you realize who you really are and if you didn't exist, all of this would have to collapse because we're all the same energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. And that's what we are. Tesla said, you want to understand the universe, you have to have energy, vibration, and frequency. That's all that's going on here. We're made of atoms, and atoms are made of particles. And when you get rid of the particles, they're just waves of energy. And so the bottom line is that it's all in a big illusion. But it can be a painful illusion if we start believing nonsense. And I go through this too. I don't want anybody to think I'm perfect, and I don't have my own struggles, and I don't have my bad moments and my bad days. I read a book a long time ago called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And the opening line is, life is difficult. And this duality, navigating this duality is difficult. What is my purpose here? Why did I come here? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Why am I here? What is my purpose here? Why did I choose this particular time in history? And what can I do to make the world a better place? What can I do when I leave here that I've left it a better place than what I found it. And that's all we can do. I mean, we can only do our small part. But if we all did our small part, guess what? There's 8 billion of us, they say. If 4 billion of us would lift up someone less fortunate than ourselves, everything, this whole construct would collapse and we would be back to the Garden of Eden. But it's all divide and conquer, and they keep breaking it up even further, so, but
Well, I just want to share with you, Mike, because when you share that story of Margaret and her passing and how you guys facilitated that for her holding space, I almost started to cry because it's such a beautiful, there's so much love in what you're sharing. And I was hoping, or that's my hope, when I bring people like you on the Spiritual Quest podcast, it is you're sharing your mission, you're bringing hope, you are igniting the fire, you're sharing, you're giving off your spirit, you're connecting with other people, you're having a global impact. And if, like you said, if we all found or saw the value, the true value of each individual, and we started to see the value in ourselves, then things would completely shift the directory of where we're going. I believe this is a beautiful time to be a human being. We are awakening. Everything is moving faster. I'm just thinking back. I mean, you've been here longer than I, Mike, so you know this. It's picking up speed. We're awakening in a whole different, and it's all about the vibration. It's all thanks to people like you, Mike, that's been speaking and sharing the knowledge and being the examples. So I just want to applaud you as well for the work that you've done and that you are doing. And so I want to ask you now, when you've reflected on your life, what would you say is your mission, Mike, in this lifetime? Bringing everything in, like your whole.
well, yeah, I mean, similar to yours is waking people up, but I'm doing it through this wellness resort. Because when people are suffering and they believe things that aren't true, and we can break through and help them to heal themselves and learn how to heal themselves, that's my mission. And by doing that, so it's, imagine this, people come here, like the guy that just came here, and goes and he heals and he goes home. But more importantly, he gets connected to his soul. And then he starts telling the people in his community, and that's a little ripple effect that spreads. So for me, it's, I have 4 kids and 8 grandkids. There was a movie that just came out from a guy from World War II named Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who could have left Germany, didn't, and was hung by the Nazis for helping others. But he said a righteous man lives for the next generation. So for me, I have 4 kids and 8 grandkids. That's what I'm living for. So we need to get humanity on the right path with the right belief systems, the right mindset, with a loving, pure heart for humanity to keep going and blossoming and growing and consciousness rising. So that's my mission.
Beautiful. And I so appreciate your mission and just seeing what you're bringing of healing. We need to heal. And I know each individual that heals is a healing part of the collective, right? Because we are interconnected.
Yeah.
So knowing that when we see the value in ourselves and we do our healing process and we understand that the healing of ourselves is, I would say, the most important aspect of this awakening that we're going through. I don't think you can awaken fully if you do not heal the parts of you that is keeping you down, or keeping you small, or in the, what do you call it, the victim mode, if you wish. So what would you say to those people right now that know that they have a mission but haven't found that mission? Where can we go to kind of get a sense within ourselves to explore our mission, to discover it?
Well, one, we have to go inside, okay, and realize that the creator, there's a part of the creator right here. I really believe there's a part of God in each one of us that's experiencing this through us, okay? Now, why he wanted to do that, that's his business. We'll find out someday. But you just said something about victim. And this is, I see, the biggest problem in people's lives today, because people want to play the victim card. And here's the truth. We're either all victims or none of us are victims. So pick your poison. But when you're a victim, you have no power to fix and change things. And the truth is, you're a powerful creator. So when you realize if you can just make that switch, go from victim to creator, all of a sudden everything starts to change. When I'm a victim, I'm at the mercy of whatever happens to me. But here's the trick. If I want to become a powerful creator, I have to take responsibility for everything in my life. If I'm sick, I need to take responsibility for that. If I got depression, I need to take responsibility for that. If I'm divorced and miserable, I need to take responsibility. If I have bad habits, drinking, womanizing, gambling, whatever it is, I need to take responsibility of that. And once I realize I've done all of this to me, no one else has done it. Okay, now I'm a powerful creator. Now I can fix it. Now I can become what God intended me to become, and I can find my mission and my purpose. But until we clean up that stuff and we quit being, as long as we're a victim and we have all these bad habits, okay, we're never going to become who we were meant to become. So we need to clear up the wreckage of the past, realize we're not a victim, we're a powerful creator, and then things start to fall into place. And by the way, you know, I've probably quit this project 20 times. I get so frustrated. I get so upset. I've poured 8 years of my life into this. I haven't made a dime. I've spent millions of dollars, but I've never given up. So there's going to come times in your life where you quit, but then you got to get up. Don't give up. Dust yourself off and keep going. I mean, we're human beings at some level, okay? So we're subjected to a lot of stuff that we're probably not even aware of, right? And when we get frustrated, we get angry, you know, we quit. But then, okay, take a deep breath, get grounded again, and get back up and keep going. Don't give up. That's the thing. You can't give up on yourself.
Beautiful. So true. Don't give up on yourself. And let's wrap this up, Mike, with a roadmap, just some specific steps that they can take moving into 2025 now and becoming more healthier, taking responsibility for their own energy output and moving forward with their purpose or mission in life. So that's our intention for finding a roadmap. So what are some steps? You said it beautifully, we have to breathe, so we have to take time to go inside. So that's step number one. So what would the next steps be?
Well, you want to quiet the mind. So we want to quiet the mind. Now, I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza and his guided meditation. So I love that. I love his teachings. And I love, I call the guy the mystery man that taught me this in 1982, because it was so long ago, I didn't know his name when I wrote my book. But then I hired a private investigator, found out who he was. His name was Doug Fitzgerald. But what I didn't know at the time is he was studying Silva mind control. And I only found this out because I found his children and they told me his story, what was going on. Well, Dr. Joe, his work, the very core of it is Silva mind control, right? But the thing is, now he's bringing science in. This is in the Bible. Ask and you shall receive. This is nothing new. This is ancient. But what Dr. Joe's doing, he's bringing science into this. So if people start to understand that you create this intention for whatever it is you want in 2025. Let's say you're dealing with a health struggle, okay? And what I would do is I would have someone write into, I love how healthy I am. I love how great I feel. I love how I sleep 8 hours straight. I love how when I wake up, I'm full of energy and love and desire to go out and create something in the world. So you write, even if you feel like garbage and it's all, you write these intentions as if they already exist. There's a lot of people say, fake it till you make it. Write this out as if it already exists, and it will exist eventually. Just start believing it. Wayne Dyer, who wrote a zillion books, I love that man.
Me too.
He said, it's not where you'll believe it when you'll see it. When you see it, you'll believe it. We need to see it, and then we need to feel it. That's the other thing. Okay, if I'm writing that intention, I want these people, write that intention, and then I want you to feel that. Feel it for as long as you can. Okay. And then if you listen to it every morning, every night, you put it into the field of infinite possibilities. or nothing else, just do the meditations and just imagine it in your mind's eye and feel it in your body, how healthy you are, how vibrant you are. And just fake it till you make it, and it
I
will happen.
love that. Yes. And I just want to share for people watching, this is The Creation Frequency. That's your book, Mike. And that's available on your website. And I'm sure it's available also on Amazon, Noble, and yeah, most places, I would assume, with the rest of your books. So, any final words today, Mike, for our viewers?
You are here for a reason and a purpose, and you're a powerful creator, and the world needs you. Your family needs you. Your employees or your employer needs you. And you are a vital part of this. So don't give up. Whatever you're going through, believe me, I've been through hell and back many times in my life. And most of my problems were self-induced, okay? Because we screw up, we make bad decisions, and we create bad habits, okay? But don't give up on yourself. Get up. And you know where I get a lot of inspiration? Listening to podcasts like yours, and finding people that resonate with you and listening to garbage in, garbage out. So we have to put good stuff in. And the brain, when the brain gets good thoughts, guess what happens? It makes great chemicals. And then the great chemicals go into the body. Now you feel good physically. You put bad thoughts in here, the body makes bad chemicals, too much cortisol, too much adrenaline. And when you feel like garbage and then you get anxiety, then the doctor puts you on anxiety meds. It all starts with a thought, a bad thought. Let's say I'm driving down the road and I hear a love song that reminds me of a relationship that didn't end well. And I have this bad thought. Then I make these bad chemicals go in my body. So now I feel terrible. What do people do when they feel terrible? They want to change their state. Well, most people could change their state: alcohol, drugs, womanizing, gambling, whatever, right? No, get a good podcast with a good positive message. Feed that into your brain. Let those good chemicals fill your body. Walk, get into nature, breathe. When we get rid of the world, the insanity of the outside world, and we go inside and we find ourselves again, find that little child again, that everything was possible. And then just live from that place, live from your heart, turn this off, and do the best you can.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been wonderful. It's been inspiring and empowering having you share your story with us and your knowledge and everything that you've done. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for being part of this great awakening and sharing your gift and being so open and honest and transparent, because it's not something we see that often yet. It's coming, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. So I just want to say thank you so much to you, Mike. So I just want to give my thanks to all of you viewers that are watching and listening and tuning into the Spiritual Quest podcast. I truly appreciate all the likes, subscribes, and everything that you do for your own well-being, for your own soul's journey here to Earth. Thank you for following your mission and being part of this global family of souls having this human experience. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you very much for joining us. And until next time, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye now.